If we think about how we support Black businesses as a state, as a country, right, and we make the necessary changes, everyone will benefit and our economy stands to grow.
This Detroit-based coalition is helping Black entrepreneurs break through systemic barriers and statistics to achieve their goals.
I was the chair of the Mayor's Equity Council. And so we would look at city processes in order to make them easier, more simpler for the least of these, for Black people, for Black businesses. Kai and I actually worked together in the mayor's office. Kai was in charge of economic development. And during COVID, he actually joined the team to help lead the small business response.
The Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance was established in March 2021.
When we launched, the thing I said to Charity is like, if we can do two things, we'll be wildly successful. One is to build trust within our community, and the second is to figure out how to put money in the hands of Black businesses. I think 2.5 years later, that still rings true, right? And we've done that.
MDBBA programs like Capital Connect help Black businesses overcome hurdles that have historically made accessing funding an uphill battle.
In our community, oftentimes we don't have the banking relationships. And I can spare you the history on banking in the Black community, but there were rules that were put in place to prevent us from being able to access capital. And so my challenge to our funding partners, and my original challenge was, hey, look, if you give me your funding guidelines, I can bring you, a number of Black businesses that would be able to access your capital. The only way in which you become a funding partner with MDBBA, with our Capital Connect program, is that you have to furnish us your guidelines. I won't share them publicly, but if you provide me those guidelines, I will go out and I will find businesses and I will prepare them to be able to access your capital. Now that I have your guidelines, I'm actually teaching to the test. And that's what we do at Capital Connect. And we've done it now in 6 different cohorts to the tune of $4.6 million. But it is 12 weeks of intensive preparation around business plan development, financial projections, and then pitch development.
We are over $8 million in the hands of Black-owned businesses, and we are literally just getting started. I think one of the best things is that when we get our members together, there is a feeling of community. When we do events, there's a feeling of Black excellence. It's unfortunate because Detroit is such a Black city, and we don't have a lot of Black spaces. There aren't a lot of Black places in Detroit where Black people can go and feel celebrated. We are unapologetically Black. We don't say minority, people of color. We are trying to close the racial wealth gap. It is a racial wealth gap, right? That was created intentionally. And I think our members love the fact that we are bold. We speak truth to power, no matter who that might be. You got to think big, but as big as you think, like as large as you think, that's how much work you got to do. A lot of times we want to think this big, do this amount of work, and flex this much. And really, that's not the way it goes.
Everybody else around us across the globe is thinking bigger. How do we as a community think bigger, knowing that, the uphill battle that we faced? The other thing I would say is, put it on paper, right? We have these grandiose ideas, we have things that we want to do, and we don't ever put it on paper. It gets written down, it gets done, right? And I think that is our challenge through, our programming is, let's put it on paper, let's legitimize it so that we can start to build from there.